Tittsworth, the vocalist and rhythm guitar player for Images of Eden. And when Steve Dorssom,
Yes,
when he's
correct.
not playing a detective, a mercenary, or a Vegas minister in his film career, he is playing drums for
All
Images
right.
of Eden.
Thank you.
Images of Eden is about to release Angelborn on Pavement Entertainment this Friday, March 26, 2021. And guys,
Yes.
again, thanks so much for taking the time.
Got
Oh,
it. Thank you for having us,
you
brother.
too. You too. This is a big one for us. This is the biggest one of our careers, bar none.
Yeah, yeah, and it's special. It really is. And I want to get into the writing of it, and a really special moment for me on the whole album comes in the last song,
Mm-hmm.
in memory of me, and
Ah,
such a special moment. Really hit me pretty good, and
Good.
I want to talk about that. But
okay.
let's start with the writing process for you guys. Uh,
Yeah.
I know you guys are the primary writers. What's the input on the other band members, and how does it work with music and lyrics? Do you bring them in? How's it all work?
Yeah, I'm gonna rattle off. So put your seatbelt on.
Okay.
It's always been the case. I actually, this is Gordon. I actually do all the writing, and I have since the first album 20 years ago. I'd been in and out of bands, and had varying levels of experiences with band members. So, just a kind of a comedy of errors beforehand. And I finally got to the point where I said, you know what, it's time to bring this vision I have that's very specific to life without having it watered down, diluted, and having to deal with a lot of excessive garbage. Long story short, started off with a session drummer who had a studio or knew a studio, and a guy who knew how to work Photoshop. I started bare bones with nothing, and just I wrote the first album, did all the instruments, but the drums, used that to form the band, or the first incarnation to do the second album. It's always sort of been this way, but as far as the other band members go, they're totally cool with it because they've sort of seen the pattern over the years. When we did the Soul Rise album, it was very well received, so there was really no balking. They're like, okay, well, Steve and Gordon have this clearly locked down, the process, which obviously took a lot of time to get there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And I don't really make time or really think about what I'm doing after each album's complete. I start with a blank canvas and just sort of wait for it to hit me. And with this particular album, it was just after we turned Soul Rise into our producer to start mixing in, I guess, mid 2017. This levee broke and the floodgates open, and within 2.5 months, I had 9 songs basically written, arranged, official guitar tracked, and a good chunk of the lyrics done. And then a couple of them were stragglers after that. That's generally the songwriting process. And then what we do is, because we live in different states, I'll lay down the demos to a click track, send it over to Steve. He'll do his drums. I'll tweak the rhythm guitar. I've got scratch vocals, scratch other tracks, send it out to the rest of the guys. And it's basically sort of an assembly line process. Here's the widget, put your piece onto the widget and send it back to me.
Yeah, so Gordon's really good at magically creating these structures. Him and I might make a few tweaks to those structures, and like you said, I'll do the drums, but he gives it out to everybody, not dictating what they need to do, but here's the structure, connect with it with your heart and your mind, and then whatever you do with your part, it's going to be correct. So everybody writes their parts. We get the and that's what makes it so beautiful. Everybody understands the process, and when their moment comes up, they know when to shine and not overdo it. To complement the song and not be an individual for themselves. So there's nothing like that on this, and everything is for the song, and that's the input we put on it. And together it collaborates really well, and you heard what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's impressive. And that's great when you can have a band where you can bring something to them and they can put their heart and soul into it, and make something, make that guitar part their own, or make that bass part their own.
Sure.
It's great. And I know you guys have had quite a few members in the lineup over over the years.
The comment.
How solid is the lineup you have right now?
Oh, cast iron. You
Yeah.
can't mess with it. It only took 20 years and 21 members, but we made it happen. Yeah, this is officially the lineup. I
Yeah.
mean, exclamation point, done.
Yeah. So once I got with Gordon back in 2013-ish, I think, Gordon, or something like that, 14.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, we joined forces to put IOE together again. What I mean by that is we rebranded it. We made sure we have the right group of men. We have the right foundation to build off of, and we took care of a lot of foundation work. And I call it rebranding. And from that point on, we made sure we had the right guys. I mean, these are guys that we've known for years. It is not some people we just met. So we have a long history with each one of these people in the band, and to our mature level and everything that we've been through. When we were rebranding and making sure we have this foundation, we knew right who to pluck and bring right in, who had the right hearts, who were right online with us, understood this vision, and we're all together. So it worked very, very well in that sense.
Awesome. That's it is. It's great to have a band where you can
It's rare.
Yeah, it really
It's
is.
rare. That's the wild thing about it. It's very rare that you get everybody that's on the same page. There's always that one.
Yeah.
There's always one clown, and I've
Yep.
never been in a situation where that one clown didn't exist until now.
It's great. It's really good to hear. Really good to hear. Now, when you started writing for this one, was there a specific goal or direction that you wanted? Did you say to yourself, I want to do more vocal harmonies, or I want to make this the heaviest record that we've ever made, or was there any of that? Any specific goal?
Interesting you say that, because with every album, going back to the first, I always finish an album and go, I have no idea where I'm going to go here, because I literally gave it everything I had. But every single time I start writing the next album, it's like all of a sudden it happens, and I'm able to up the bar to the next rung. Soul Rise, we all put every ounce of blood, sweat, and tears into Soul Rise, that I was not even trying to even think about upping Soul Rise, because I just didn't think it was possible. I didn't, because of what that album meant to me at the time. But it's, every time I start something new, I start it with a blank canvas. Like I say, I have a Word document that has all my notes, all my lyrics, everything like that. And I just, what happened was, after we turned in Soul Rise, the levee broke open, and 9 of the 11 songs just happened really fast. And I didn't even really have time to think. It was like everything hit me, and I just started laying it down. And that was it. I kind of dealt with a little bit of a pretty substantial traumatic experience back then. And it was just like everything hit. And this album was very healing, actually. In the writing process. This is, I felt it during Soul Rise, but I mean, every single song on this album, at some point, or at least most of the songs, at some point, I had a quote experience that just dropped me to the ground, to where I had to stop and regain composure. You mentioned the song "In Memory of Me," and that was a big one for that song as well. But yeah, but as we started kind of peeling back this onion, it didn't take long before we realized that we might have something on our hands that was going to outdo Soul Rise. The further we peeled back that onion, the more apparent that became. And then when we finally got this thing done, it was just like, wow. Now, the one thing I did consciously do, I wanted to make sure that I spent more time kind of crafting vocal hooks and things that would just kind of grab you. And I feel like, compared to Soul Rise, it was definitely that was definitely achieved.
And I think we did that a little bit musically as well. We tried to focus on that a little bit more, and just maturing our songwriting process, and knowing what some of these items take, that we need to kind of maybe incorporate in. So yeah, just keeping that in mind a little bit.
Yeah. It's great stuff. I mean, the hooks are fantastic, but it's the heaviness with the harmonies is something that is very difficult to do, because you don't want to soften it too much to where you're not that heavy band that you want to be,
right?
But to be really heavy, and to have a vocal hook, especially where you can sing along, that's difficult, and you guys do it so well on this record. It's really, really great.
Thank you, bro. That really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Um, what's the biggest inspiration when you're writing? Is it, I hear some like newscasters little clips in there, like, there's a little bit of politics. Um, people, like In Memory of Me, you know, love, anger, all of that seems to go into these songs. Is there any one particular thing that you're most inspired to write by?
Yeah, I almost, there's no other way to say this other than I kind of feel like I'm sort of like a paintbrush between the artist and the canvas. What I mean by that is and this goes back to the third album, Rebuilding the Ruins, when the lyrics just flood out. There have been so many examples where the lyrics come out. There are words that I just don't use in everyday life. There are phrases that I don't always understand, but I go with it, and I feel very compelled to kind of use it as is. And it's just several songs, especially like a song called "Only Human" on Soul Rise. The lyrics flooded out. I didn't even think about them. I reread them later and realized that this is stuff that I could learn from. I mean, I feel like it was almost, and I'll use the word channeled. And I mean, Steve would tell you too. I mean, the things that we both have gone back after the fact and have been moved by this stuff, just kind of organically at listening as a fan. I mean, this stuff comes out and it is so, it just hits me so hard from an emotional standpoint. I don't, there's nothing that I would say that it would individually inspire me other than I just wait to get hit by something that just grabs me, and then I lay it down. And I never make time to write. Time, just the things grab me. I make notes. I send myself texts, voice to text, and then I lay things down that as I hear it. But the one thing that I will tell you is, as I get into the writing to each new album, I learn something about myself, and I learn something about kind of where I am and kind of what's going on. If you follow this album, you're going to notice there are two specific themes, and this is not something I planned. This all fell kind of like into place as puzzle pieces. There is the theme of gaining strength and just kind of getting through mourning, grief, kind of loss, gaining strength from that, hope, inspiration, but definitely working through loss. And there's also a running theme that is sort of directed to those who are more or less broken, who have been abused, beaten down, who have low self-esteem or no self-worth. It's basically saying, hey, you are loved unconditionally, just as you were created. When you look in the mirror, you might hate that person, but that person is loved, and you were born as a perfect angel. Just remember, the world has soured you and deconstructed you. So if you take those two themes and you look at the album cover is very specific to that. You'll see hands holding a baby angel, and then the question becomes, are the hands putting the angel to the ground, or are the hands picking them up from the ground? And depending on which theme of the album speaks to you, both answers are correct. And you'll notice the white feathers. If you look closely, the little baby angel's holding a white feather, and that's recalled at the end of In Memory of Me, and also in the video Autumn is Burning.
Now, how much I mean, you go into that album art, and I love that because I'm old school.
Yeah, right on, man.
Cool.
Very cool.
I love having art. I love having liner notes. I love having that. It means it relates to the music. It's the full package. And as you said, you have that artwork that relates to the music. How much are you involved in? You're obviously pretty involved in that artwork.
All of it. We both are. I mean, it's kind of funny, Gordon and I, when we were building the record and we were thinking about album cover ideas, we both kind of had a similar dream the same night of what we saw, the things that we wanted to see in the album cover. So we kind of got on the phone the next day. We were kind of laughing. That's kind of a coincidence. That never happens. But yeah, we talked about it. We had some similar intangibles that we wanted to put on the record, and I kind of had the backdrop of the world of crap that we live in, and Gordon followed in with the ideas of the hands coming down to the sky with the baby angel, and we just kind of put our notes together. Gordon drew up a little sketch to our artist, and it was pretty simple. It was a dream we both had, a short meeting on the phone, a little sketch up, send to the artist, a couple tweets, we were done.
Wow. Wow.
So the vision was there. The vision's very clear, especially in Gordon's head as well. I mean, for everything we do everything. We everything's in house, from the songwriting to the recording and the production and music video production and filming and whatnot. All of that, you know. We try to stay involved in all of that because the message resonates to all these different avenues that come out from the root of all this, and we want to make sure those stay very clear, if you will.
Yeah, yeah, it's fantastic to see, really is. Now you have one of my favorite producers producing the record, right? Bill Matoyer.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, he's one
Yeah.
of your favorites, huh?
Oh, absolutely. You
His
know,
birthday was just yesterday too.
oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
that's cool.
yeah.
Early Metal Blade stuff is just, I grew up with that stuff,
Mhm,
the Slayer, Trouble,
mhm.
Wasp, and
Yeah,
Armored Saint is
Fates Warning.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's right in my wheelhouse. That's,
yeah.
stuff I grew up listening to. Um, what is the biggest contribution that Bill makes? I think, there's a couple kinds of producers, really. There's the invasive type of producer who's might want to change things, and then, the producer who sits behind the board and lets you do your thing and makes it sound good.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what kind of guy Bill is
Mhm.
in the studio, but what is his biggest contribution to the Images of Eden sound, do you feel?
Well, I mean, Bill's a good friend for many years, for one, and we trust Bill, and we try to coach him to put your thumbprint on this, make suggestions, do things, and see what we think, and he does. But he also leaves the window wide open because he understands our vision and our direction and the music that we all recorded to bring to him to mix. So he knows that we know. We need to tell him kind of what we want, and we do. But we also tell him at the same time, as Bill, you hear something, you see something, you feel something, do it, because that's what we want. And he does. And we'll tell him if we don't like it, and he'll suggest something to us, saying if we're onto something, and like, you guys, back it back down, okay. I'm like, okay, so we keep each other in check. I think we work together great. Gordon, I know, will have a little bit to say about this, but Bill is very easy to work with. He wants you to put your vision out on this, so he wants you to put that through him. So, and he understands how that filters. Bill does a good job of balancing both of those things, keeping the artist window intact, but also complimenting it while he goes. He does a great job. He really did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think on top of, yeah, you're absolutely right, Steven. Bill could be one of those invasive producers. We just don't know. I think it's basically Bill's like, what does the band need? And I will supply it. I mean, we are so specific with what we wanted. I sent him mock-up mixes. I sent him tracks. I even sent him pan the vocals this much percent this way, pan these vocals this much percent this way, put a hair reverb on this, put 50%. I mean, I gave him so specific. There wasn't really a lot of room for him to move around. So he was kind of, just kind of like, okay, guys, I'm just kind of following what you want. But yeah, he did kind of contribute here and there, or offer, thoughts. But I think the biggest thing that he did, apart from mixing an amazing 2 albums, was when we got Soul Rise almost completely done, our previous album, we talked to him, and he really gave us good props, and we had a little discussion, and he actually shopped labels for us. So he was the one that got us the deal with Pavement,
Mhm.
and that was huge. I mean, that was monstrous for us.
Mhm.
And just the snowball just kept going down the hill and gaining momentum from there. So yeah, I mean, Bill was phenomenal to work with.
Yeah, one compliment I can give about Bill that takes, a lifetime to learn is his ear. He has a great ear for frequencies and EQing, things like that. So it's extremely valuable, especially when you're doing metal music. We got a lot of stuff going on and everything's fighting for room, and you don't want digital distortion. So he really knows the multiple bandwidth levels, and he knows where the sweet spots are, and the hand-in-hand mixing, mastering, balancing act it takes. So those are intangibles you just can't buy. Okay, that just took him. He's been doing that since the late 70s. So he really has a good ear, and that's huge. Let me tell you, in the end result.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, you don't stay big in the business like he has been for that many years, not having one, I don't think.
Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly.
yeah. So now you guys got one of my favorite producers. You got one of my favorite bands and songs from that band covered on this album.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Fight the Good Fight is I can remember putting my speaker as a kid. I can remember putting my speaker out. I lived on a third floor apartment in Chicago.
Uh-huh.
And I put my speaker out the window. I wanted everybody to hear it. And I turned up Fight the Good Fight. I had
Right
police
on.
at my door, but it was,
Yeah, sure.
they got to hear it.
Let's relive that memory right now, man. Do it again. Put it out your window right now.
Maybe later. Maybe later.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, I mean, obviously that song means the world to me. And it obviously, I would think, means a whole ton to you. Does it hold a special meaning? Why that song?
I was thinking about something we can do after Soul Rise. We're always trying to go on to the next task and move to keep everything rolling, not get stagnant rather. Before Angel Born came out, we were just going to do, let's try to find the correct cover tune that we can do. But that's a tough task. Finding the correct one with our message, our MO. It has to fit. We just can't grab anything and just do it. It has to be something that everybody knows, that fits our MO of Images of Eden. And something that's not cheesy, you know what I mean? So anyway, that song happened to come on the radio and I was like, that's it. That's the message. That's, wow, what a world anthem, especially for the world we live in today. What an anthem for everyone.
Absolutely.
No matter what kind of music you like. Fight the good fight. I mean, that's some words that I think everybody can sing right now and use. So anyway, I confronted Gordon. He thought it was a great idea. Let's do it. We talked to the guys. Cool. Do it. So we ended up going on tour with Metal Church in Doro. We kind of parked the idea, but we were going to do it. Funny, I actually got a Christmas card from somebody when we were thinking about doing it. Not sure yet, kind of teetering, and got a Christmas card for somebody that said they love the Shield Me video, a media guy, and to keep fighting the good fight. And I'm like,
Look at that.
There's my message.
It's it.
So
pay attention to the signs.
Yeah. Yep. So we decided to do it, but one rule is it was not going on the record, because we have the Angel Born songs are kind of the bookends, start and finish. We didn't want to interrupt that, so we were just going to do it just for fun, just for the fans, not on the record. So started recording it, started doing it. We went on tour, and then we started putting it all together. We decided to do a video for it as well, just to make it interesting, but still not putting it on the record. So we gave everybody GoPros on tour, get some footage, get some cool stuff. I got an idea for a video. I don't know what it is yet, but just get some footage. So we did all that, came home, finished the recording, and the magic started happening. We were like, wow, this is really turning out pretty good. I mean, we were playing the balancing act of keeping that classic structure intact, because you don't want to go and butcher somebody's classic structure. It's marvelous, but we wanted to put our touch on it and make it our sound. So that was a hard balancing act to do, but I think we did okay with that. Keeping that classical structure intact, but yet it sounds like Images of Eden. So anyway, we recorded the song and Bill mixed it, and we let the label hear it, and they're like, oh my God, this needs to go on the record. And we're like, oh no, we weren't going to put this on the record. This is just for fun. They're like, oh guys, oh my gosh, it's got to go on the record. And they saw the video too, and it's like, oh my God. They're basically looking at us like, guys, you'd be idiots if you don't put this on the record. So we're like, Gordon and I rethought it. We talked about it with the guys, and like, let's put it on the record. So it's on the record. And then the video treatment that I wrote for this was just to capture the real musician's life, the thankless job it is, the tough road, the heartaches, the problems, all the dedication it takes and sacrifices it takes just to bring your music to the stage for the fans. Yeah. And so I wanted to capture that on the backside of everything, if you will. Yep. And I think we did that, and it's still a fun video on top of that. So very cool.
Definitely. And, I noticed in the video, you have Arcata Theater footage. Which is
yes.
Right by me.
Cool.
It's just such a great theater.
I love it.
Man, and every band I talk to, there's some that have recorded there, live albums recorded there, and
Mhm.
Ron Onesti over there is just such a great guy. He cooks for bands and stuff
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's a
Fabulous meals,
Yeah,
fabulous.
yeah,
Totally took care of us.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and every band says that. Everyone that comes
Hmm.
through there. Did you get a chance to go up to the Speakeasy by any chance?
No,
Upstairs in there, it's like a Flapper Girls and Prohibition era kind of
I don't think I
restaurant.
saw that.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't.
No, yeah, well, yeah. Next time you come by,
Okay.
you play the Arcana Theater again, and we'll hang out up there. It's pretty cool. It is
Sure.
really cool. You get off the elevator and you're in the 1920s. I
Oh
mean,
wow.
literally in the
Okay.
1920s.
I missed that one. I was
It's
kind of busy
unbelievable.
that night, you know.
Yeah.
But hey, I want to tell you something really cool just to end my story on the Triumph thing. So the video was out, I don't know, five or 6 days or so, and then the band Triumph actually contacted Gordon and
Wow.
letting them know that, wow, all the guys just saw your remake and we're all blown away. We love it. So they wanted the master video from us so they can load our master video onto their page and endorse us. So if you go on the Triumph page, you'll see their load of our Fight the Good Fight video.
Ah,
How
how
cool is
cool is
that?
that? Yeah.
Oh yeah, it
That's
doesn't get
awesome.
any better than that. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, approval from, the masters themselves. How
Yeah.
great is that?
So you gotta
Wow.
love it. So anyway, I'm glad they loved it because it was important to us, not just to remake it, but to make those guys proud. That was always on our mind.
Hmm.
We don't want to butcher somebody's classic song that's already great, but we wanted to do it our style, So I think we accomplished that, I believe.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I think it fits on the record. I
Yeah,
really
it
do.
does.
With the themes of the record and the sound of the record,
Hmm.
it has all of those elements.
It does. And I'm glad we changed our minds and
Yeah.
got that figured out. So
Yeah. And it makes a great single.
it does. It
Yeah.
does. It's doing pretty well on radio right now. So good.
Yeah, awesome. What was the most challenging part of this record? Now, like I said, I hear In Memory of Me, and it's it's emotional. It's
Mhm.
obviously extremely emotional. It was emotional for me. I can't imagine what it was like probably for you. Those are all personal things, probably. Um, it's epic though. 11 minutes, 11 seconds, I think it is.
Yeah.
Just that it's slow, the slow build, the piano, there's some violin in there, I think, some orchestration. uh
Mhm.
so was that the most challenging thing to
Um,
do on the record?
I'm glad you brought that up. It's a two-part answer. Let me shelf that for a second. The absolute most challenging thing on the entire album was trying to track Fight the Good Fight. It almost didn't happen. I got so fired up, frustrated. I
Yeah.
was like literally one cup of coffee away from just screaming and bagging the song. So we'll leave that alone. But I tell you what, I'm glad I hung in there. Steve said, just calm
Yeah.
down, relax for a few days, walk away, come back and do it with fresh ears. And then I did it. I got it done, and then we were good. But believe it or not, as when bringing up In Memory of Me, that song fell together. It pieced itself together just so fluidly and without any thought. Um, I, that I knew that was going to be the closer. It was about something that was very specific to me. That it was a very specific incident that that healed me beyond belief, man. I mean, I went through kind of a nasty loss, and I was really down and going through some grief. And it was something that specifically happened actually to my wife, and she talked to me about it, and I mean it just dropped me to the ground, and it took me a while to kind of walk that off, and it was just a very, very huge confirmation. I don't even want to get into exactly what happened, because I like people to actually take it and apply it to their own lives and how they see it. But if you listen closely, you will hear that all of the stages of grief are actually accounted for in this song. It actually walks you through all of the different stages.
Mm.
And at the very end of the song, what you're hearing at the end, all I can tell you with that is I heard that in my head before I created it. And what I did was I just found a ton of sound clips all over the internet, pieced it together clip by clip, and got the individual voices for the end of that. And I still listen to that song, and I get teary eyed, and hair stands up.
Yeah, right now, you know, I got tears coming thinking about it. It's people need to hear that song.
Yeah.
It's just it's an emotional, especially that ending is just those voices in the end are, oh, it's so powerful. It
Mhm.
just and it just seals that album up with, you know, that emotional kiss that it so,
Well, that's so great. I'm glad that it touched you that way, because that was kind
mm,
of the intention. And I kind of had a feeling, because I knew how I felt after listening to it completed. I was just like, this. I don't even, I don't know what I'm gonna where can I go from here? I mean, if you listen to the beginning of the album, it started off with the vinyl before Autumn is Burning kicked in. The very ending kicks back into the vinyl, and if you notice, it's almost kind of like there's a character putting on a record and then gets immediately engulfed in the record, and at the very end he has gotten the strength to go on. And that's kind of what you're hearing now. As far as that ending goes, I had been asked, what is this specifically? And what I say is this: I'm not telling you what's happening at the ending, because you're going to basically interpret it one of two ways, and either way you interpret it, you are correct, because that's what it means to you.
yeah, that, and
I'd,
I
lo-
like that
yeah.
that
I'd love to
ambiguous.
hear. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to talk here. I'd love to hear maybe offline when you're done. I'd like to hear exactly the details behind that, because I'm having a feeling probably something happened that really just nailed and hit home with.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and I think we all experience loss, and
Yeah,
even with pets, and
Oh yeah.
just that sense of hope, and I think that's what it did for me.
yeah,
Those voices were, meeting people on the other side, and that's us. You hope for that. We all hope for a heaven, and a better place, and somewhere to join hands again.
yeah.
And that that spoke to me. Those voices just went right through me. The song all along was great. I love that. And then, the voices start, and you lose it. It's like,
Oh
wow.
yeah. Let me
you
let
know
me fill you in on another thing. I look right behind you, and I see that little monster behind you. Uh, if
I
you
got one
if
just
you
like
if you
that.
listen closely, you heard a purring at the very very end.
Yes.
That was in there very specifically,
Yeah, purposely. It was a
and
rough
it,
one.
and included with the human voices. And
Hmm.
that's something I am going to stand behind 1000%.
Hmm. And that's one of the things that touched me. He had a brother. This is Goblin. He had a brother, Spooky, looked just like him, and I heard that purring, and I immediately thought of him. We miss him,
Mhm.
Yep.
um and it's like I say, it's people need to hear it. I mean, people need to hear this song. It's extremely special. It is, what a way to end the record too. It's
Great.
perfect, you guys. It's really, really,
Great.
That's
It
awesome.
really.
means the world that it spoke to you the way
Mhm.
it did, because I'm sure you can only imagine I was a mess putting that together.
That's why I asked that question. That had to be extremely challenging.
Oh,
Uh, it's challenging to listen to.
Uh-huh.
I enjoy it tremendously.
Great.
It might be my favorite song on the record, really. Just for that reason. But it's, I have to be, I have to close my door when I listen to it. I'm a
Thanks
I
for
get
mess
it.
sticking
listening
around.
to it. you know just thinking about it, like I say, it's very emotional, and
Yep.
it's extremely moving, and people need to hear it, and you know very special. I
Awesome.
appreciate it. I
Well, we
appreciate
appreciate you and your
Yeah.
reaction to it, brother.
it.
So you
Yeah.
make, I mean, when we hear stuff like that, it makes what we do worthwhile.
Right.
Yeah, that is something special. Do you have let's talk about the cutting room floor. Do you have anything left over from the
Oh
writing
yeah.
sessions?
You know what? We had so much to put on this album, and then we're like, wait a minute, we're looking at pushing, I think, 65 or 68 minutes running time. So
I,
we're like, wait a minute, with sometime we have to just, call it a day. And I
Uh-huh.
think Steve, you made the call. You're like, all right, that, we're good. But there was a song called Weaving Through a Dream that didn't make the cut. That's going to be on our 6th album, which, by the way, I'm 10 songs deep into. They're all at varying levels of arrangements and whatnot, lyrically too. No vocals yet, just tracking demos and arrangements and working on some good guitar tracks. And then once I get some vocals in there, then we start the process over, and I'll start sending it to Steve, and we go, across the whole. Oh man,
Assembly line.
yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
speak up when you know it, because I
The metal
don't sometimes.
factory. It's a metal factory it goes through.
Exactly.
Well, that is great news, man. Because you're a wealth of music, and that's special. That's odd too.
Mhm.
A lot of people I talk to, they're exhausting the whole thing they have ready. Everything goes on the record, and they start from scratch for the new one, and it makes things more difficult. You did the very prolific, and that's awesome.
Right on. Appreciate it, brother.
Hmm. Um, Now, Steve, I notice in the Harvest Day video
Mhm.
that you play barefoot. Do you
Yes.
always play barefoot?
I never have until I joined this band.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually I get the trick from Greg Hall from Sacred Reich, because I love Greg. He lives out here in Phoenix, and we're buddies. But I just always saw him doing that back in the day. I go, wow, how can he do that? Because I played really fast back in the day, and I'm like, man, my feet would get like cut or something. You know what I mean? But I play a little better with a little more action and a little more feel, and I just tried it out. So I was playing at home a lot barefoot. I'm like, wow, I can't put no shoes on now and play. It's weird. So I just started doing it live. So to this day, I still play barefoot. I put some grip socks on now, usually, so I'm
Wow.
not totally barefoot. But I like to play barefoot. My response time is better. I can just play a little better, So all of these years, I used to play speed metal and hard stuff in the past. I played with big old tennis shoes on, But
Yeah.
now I just lightened it up a little bit, and it feels good.
Oh, that's really
But
cool.
but
I
great
noticed
question
that.
though. Great question.
Yeah, that was really cool to
Yeah.
see. I don't see that much.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
It's an old
Uh,
Greg Hall trick. So,
yeah. And Sacred Reich,
yeah,
another Bill Matoyer band.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, very cool. And Gordon, your instrument. How do you care for it? You're the sensational voice.
Wow, thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, who I started singing. It's funny because I started when I was 13. I started playing guitar. I wanted to be a guitar player. I never wanted to be a singer. Matter of fact, I very specifically wanted nothing to do with vocals. I was dead set against it. And but with my high school band, I don't know how many singers we tried bringing in. We had the full band, but we didn't have any singers. I think probably over the course of the time, maybe 9-ish, 10-ish singers. Nobody could do what we wanted them to do, and I didn't really think it was asking too much. But then again, I didn't know. And then I said, well, I'm so frustrated with this. I'm done. Let me see if I have any semblance of a voice at all. And so I just threw it at the wall and to see if it would stick. And I mean, the very first attempt was brutal. I make a joke. I sound like a circular saw cutting against the blackboard. But after a while, I thought, hey, I might have something. Let me see what's happening. So I took some lessons when I was 18 from an opera singer, and she really kind of set me on a good direction. Now, fast forward to 2011, I got really sick. I got laryngitis, and I lost my voice. And for 25 years of singing, I couldn't get it back. It was the first time I was ever sick, and I just could not regain it. I,
Ooh.
I, I literally took 2.5 years to try to get it back. And I mean, it was all straining and struggling and pushing. And I said, I have to really, I kind of swallowed my pride, even though I don't have any pride really. I swallowed my pride and said, I've got to go back to a vocal coach. I just didn't feel like starting from scratch. And
Right.
I sought out a vocal coach, and I'm very glad I did, because the guy that I found, his name is Jamie Bandera. I saw him shatter glass with his voice on MythBusters and Dr. Oz, and I said, this is the guy. So I reached out to him, and he says, I know exactly what you did, and I'm going to get you not back to where you were. I'm going to let you soar past where you were. So he actually gave me tools to strengthen it. I had to start from scratch and rebuild muscle again. And then not only did I get to where I was, I can do stuff now that I could have never have done before I got sick. So it was definitely a blessing in disguise. And I try to sing almost every day for at least about a half an hour or 40 minutes. It's kind of like weightlifting, going to the gym.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, and the warm ups and everything.
Yeah.
I just talked to somebody, and I'm not going to name names, but he was against that, the warm ups, and I had never heard that. And I took 2 years of voice myself, but there was warm ups. You warm up. It's a thing. Uh,
Yeah.
he was against that as a singer.
Good
Um,
luck with that. That's all
so,
I'm going to say.
I mean, you know,
One in a million there.
it was strange to hear, but to each his own. We'll see what happens in 10 years. Uh,
Exactly. Good luck with that. Yeah.
but yeah, it's good to hear that you got that help, and you have the tools. So you have a warm up routine and a regimen that you still use
Yep.
now.
I do like every day I'll try to go through a list of a certain amount of songs that kind of work over the whole range, and the same warm up routine beforehand. I mean, Steve and the crew have been with me in the room before gigs, hearing all my weird noises and
Strange
and
airplane noises that he makes, and we're just
It's
like, go somewhere else.
Yep.
yeah, I mean, just all the crazy stuff. It's yeah, it sounds like a squealing pig, but you got to push that range all the way to the stratosphere, and get that ready. But yeah, good stuff.
Absolutely.
We encourage him to warm up. We want him to do his thing, so we'll just deal with it.
Absolutely. And you're getting pretty good production from that guy, I got to tell you.
Well, good.
Take care of him.
Now, Steve, you have an acting career, theater experience. Does that make its way into the songs at all? Because you're entertainers. It's a bit of theater in writing. Is it similar at all?
Yes and no. The performance factor is there. I mean, the reason I got into some acting in the film production world is because my son, 9 years old, he's like 20 now, got discovered by Disney back in the day. So it opened up a door of a lot of opportunities for him. Of course, he was young, and I had to be there with him on all these film sets and movies, commercials, whatever. And I was just sitting there one time, and they had an actor that didn't show or called in, and they were looking at me. It's like, hey, can you act? I'm like, I think I can. I got performance in me. I was a retired musician at that time. I came out of retirement for Gordon. Yeah, so they had me do a part. I played my son's dad. I just made it real, and they go, oh, we loved you. And then I took off from there. I started getting commercials, film gigs, movie gigs. My son was too, and then we were on fire, and I loved doing it. But then music started kind of twisting back full time in my life, because the acting stuff actually brought my music back into my life, because
there we go.
My desire to get behind the camera and produce and direct and film music videos. And so I kind of like incorporated that. And then once I got into that really hot and heavy, I was full-time band again, and I couldn't do any movie stuff or film work. It's just too much time. I mean, because when you do film work, you've got to marry the script, you got to do your character development, you got to really know what you're doing. It takes a lot of time. You just can't go and just wing it, and you can, but it'll show. So, I'm not doing that as much. I'm doing full-time music, but I'm very heavy into the music video production and direction. That's all in-house. I do all the directing and production for all of the Images of Eden music videos. And I really don't even offer it outside of this circle. A lot of people have asked me on a professional level and a medium level to do it, but I just decided, I'm not going to give all my heart and dedication to somebody else's project. And not to be greedy, it's just, it takes a lot of heart and dedication. And when I pointed that out, I want it to be in my own project. So that's why I'm just keeping it in here. So, but funny you mentioned, now that I've taken a break from acting and just doing really production work, I've got a film offer to come in and do a film part. So I'm going to do that since we're releasing Angel Born. I'm going to go ahead. I accepted the role. It's for a film called Vision X. and I'm going to play a bartender, and I have I have lots of conversational parts with the key actors that are going to be it's a pivotal part of the story. So anyway, I'm going to do that and have some fun with it. Get a little extra advertising for IOE while I'm at it, and just have fun with it all.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, live
So,
your good life. That's for
yeah,
sure. That's
but
awesome.
but I don't know if I answered your question or not. Actually, I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent. So
Yeah,
they
no,
they are two different things. And so when I perform for Images of Eden, I'm performing the story of the song. So maybe in a sense, yeah, there's some similarities, but it's totally focused on that, on delivering the music, doing your job, playing the drums correctly so everybody can follow you, and we'll have a good set. So that's my focus. I'm very strict on that. Okay. But then the movie world, it's a whole nother thing. Like I just alluded to,
right.
you just have to marry it, and you have to be dedicated. So that's a hard balancing act. I pick music.
Yeah, there you go. There
Yeah.
you go.
So
Do you ever think about like writing a score, or a soundtrack, tracks?
yes. Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I didn't. I don't really have anything to do with that per se. I'm just more of a director and a treatment writer type of guy. Now Victor Morrell, our lead guitar player, he's actually doing that right now professionally.
Wow.
He's really good at it. So he just did something for our production guy, our camera guy, Christopher Sheffield in North Hollywood, on a film called The Sting. It's a short film, and Victor did all the score work for it. And it was fabulous. He does a great job. So that's his niche for his day job, is doing film scoring and
Nice.
creations.
Nice.
Yes.
Gordon, you ever think of writing a song for a film?
I have, and but then I thought, that would be one of those things that would be really cool to do if I just had any kind of surplus of time. And as it is right now, I have to pencil in my bathroom breaks.
Yeah.
So I figured let's take a backwards approach. Let's get these songs exported in instrumental version and see if we can't solicit some
Yes.
action movies or something.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what we're doing. We have a version of songs with just instrumentals, no vocals, and of course the ones with vocals. So they're constantly being shopped out there through our outlets and our label and whatnot. If anybody chooses to have one of our produced songs in their score, then they can snag it and pay us the royalty for it. So,
Nice.
but it's offered for sure.
Okay, cool. If I had to play, I'll mention you guys to the guys I work with, and hey, I talked to guys from Images of Eden. Well, what do they sound like? What's the first song that I should play for them? They got time for one. What should it be?
You might get two answers here.
That's hard. I mean, if they have time for one, I guess my question would be, I would want, because there's so much variety across the board, I'd want to know what kind of fan they are. Are they a straightforward metal fan? Are they a progressive metal fan? Are they what do they like? And if they're just a straightforward metal fan, I don't know. I might give them something dude, I don't even know. It's weird because like we've got some long progressive songs, we've got some just shorter, just straightforward songs. I don't know if there's any one song, but I could probably tell you this. I would give them the Angel Born album, because
that's a good answer.
over anything else. And I could tell you, I guarantee you, if they're a metal fan in any capacity, there's something there for them because there's so much variety on this album.
Yeah.
I can't even answer your question.
Yeah.
My personal favorite, my favorite song we've ever done is In Memory of Me, and it just happens to be on this album.
Look at that. Yeah. Steve.
Well, it's a hard one. I mean, I can give you, nothing's a wrong answer here. I mean, I can give you a couple of songs that I think will cut through the fat and will be sellable to people, marketable to people. In that sense, I would say Angel Born, the title track, and My Promise, which is one of our radio singles as well.
I'm going to change my answer now.
Nope, you're done. No, but there's no wrong answer. All of the songs are good. Like Gordon said, he had the best answer. And I'd have to just give you the album and I'd say pick.
Yeah.
But those would be my two picks. And by the way, My Promise, the video single for that's coming out this Friday with the
Cool.
album release.
Awesome.
And that video story on that one, you think In Memory of Me got you. I think you need to close your door and tell everybody to stay away while you're watching this one. I mean, it's a great song, and it's our radio single. But if you pay attention and follow the story, which you will when you watch the video, it's pretty amazing.
Let me jump in real quick, Steve. I
Please.
gotta throw this in. When we were
Sure.
doing the editing for In Memory of Me, In Memory of Me, My Promise. When we were doing the video editing for My Promise, Chris Sheffield, he got the final edit and he goes, okay, all right, so let's just check it out, you know, full screen, beginning to end. And he played it for us. And at the end of that song, none of us talked to each other. It just got deadly, it just totally silent. And we just got up and walked to different corners in the room and sort of faced the wall to regain our individual composures. It was like that.
No kidding. It was a head shaker. We were just like, wow. I mean, what the heck did we just create? Yeah. I mean, it floored us. I kid you not. But I'm going to invite you to watch it on Friday. That's our album release day. We're putting it out on Friday on purpose because our album's coming out. I want you to see this video and be able to get your record all in one day.
Fantastic. You know, that's you guys love making videos, and that you're one of the few bands I think that likes making videos.
We're storytellers.
What was that?
We're storytellers.
Yes. And
I mean, you know, and you gotta do it from one side to the other. It can't just be the audio. You gotta have the cover, the audio, the shirts, the videos, the stage show, everything. It's all works together.
Yeah, it's the total package for sure. And that is great to hear. What is next for Images of Eden? We're going through this pandemic. Is touring a thing? Are you know, I mean, are you guys looking at dates? How's it look for you?
Okay, well, there will be some touring happening this year. Things are going to be okay by the end of the summer. Okay, it's just it's on that path. Things behind the scenes right now are being calculated for tours for other bands and whatnot. So things are coming around again. I can't tell you any news, but yes, we are negotiating some things behind the scenes, some great ones that will maybe hopefully happen late fall. So it's very important for us to go out and tour with this album this year. We will be touring, if God willing, I will be touring this year before the end of the year, I hope. And we'll be continuing on into the next year and making a trip to Europe as well. What we're going to do between now and then is get this release out, get our live show prepped and ready, start working on the new record and start recording and getting some things in the bag. Because when we do all this touring and go to Europe and we come home next spring, I want to get the record finished up next summer and get it turned in and roll.
Man.
So that's our plan.
And to add to that, Scott, with the new record, and the same thing happened with number 6 that I don't have a title for yet. That happened with Angel Born. The floodgates opened. So clearly, it was meant that we work on this album and get it done in you know, good amount of time. So with that being said, you know, when we went back to when we sent Angel Born to Bill Matoyer, first thing he said is, guys, why are you not mixing this? You don't need me. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, this mix sounds great. And we're like, shut up and mix it, pretty much. And but the funny thing was, I kind of, you know, he made me think, and I started scratching my head. I was like, you know, Steve, maybe I think my only issue with mixing is getting the drums tight. I can do everything else. So Steve and I talked, and I'm going to be mixing and mastering number 6. So now the thing is, when we sent it off to Bill, it was just in time when Bill had a lot going on, and then he had an emergency thing with Ice-T and Body Count. So we got bumped for Ice-T and Body Count. That was kind of cool, actually.
And then we got bumped for Armored Saint too, but that was also cool. So, because we love those guys, we're buddies, so it's all good.
Yeah, then we're like, all right, Bill, enough, man, come on. So long story short, you know, it took from the time we sent him the files to the time we were done. I think it was about 9 months. Obviously, I understood why it took so long. But what I'm going to be doing is, as we track individually this next album, I'm going to be mixing it as we go. So it's like, as I do my parts, I'm going to dial in the drums, dial in the rhythm guitar, dial in the vocals. And as I get keyboards, bass, lead guitar, I'm just going to drop them in, dial them in, And so in a perfect world, when the tracking is done shortly after, the album should be mastered and ready to go. The goal here is to not have much downtime at all between Angel Born and this album. And I think that with this plan, I think it's going to be pretty feasible.
Yeah, and then Bill's going to have his arms around us too, just to make sure we're okay, because this is what he's instructing us to do, you know. But it's all good. But he's going to put his arms around us, make sure Gordon has everything he needs, any questions, any blocks that he might hit or may hit. Bill will be there to help because he's part of our family. And
yeah, I was going to say that I'm sure there's going to be some consultation fees going out the door for Bill.
He's not getting off the hook. He might need to do some reamping and stuff for us. You know, he's going to be helping. But yeah, I mean, he's the one that suggested to Gordon, and Gordon, you do it, and he does. He does a great job mixing, and so, you know, just to cut through the chase and be a little more efficient and writing and mixing as we go. That's how we're gonna do it. And Bill's got our back, so we're all good.
Man, awesome. That's great news. New record after this one. Friday, Angel Born. Everybody gets to hear it.
Yes.
They're, you know, and I threw it on. Autumn is Burning, and that was the first thing I heard, and I was on my way, man. I mean, I didn't stop listening, and it ends with, you know, oh man, it's just crazy. It's a great record. Everybody needs to listen, get to this record. Whatever.
Can I give you a little rant real quick before we end?
Sure.
I just, you know, the general public out there sees a band and they see you're on YouTube and you're on Spotify and your pictures are everywhere, and they think, wow, these guys are doing great, you know. But I'm going to tell you, it's smoke in the mirrors a little bit, you know. And I just want to be frank with everybody out there right now and just really be a little blunt about this. But if there's ever a time that you're going to support your favorite band or musician, folks, I mean, gosh, now is the time to do it. I mean, I want to tell you something. We give and we gave everything we've got, financially, emotionally. Our families have sacrificed. I mean, no kidding. I mean, just to get this record up to the table here. I mean, the only way that we can be supported on this is if you buy the record, if you buy the digital download of the album, buy a merch item. That helps us keep it going, to give this to you again. Listen, we're not here to get famous. I mean, I've already made it big. Okay, I've got a wife, a home. I'm alive and well. I've made it. I don't need anything more. Okay, I don't care about numbers, being popular, having a bunch of Spotify numbers, big YouTube numbers. Who cares? What we want to do is bring this special stuff to you and put a smile on your face and give you a good direction. We've won, but what we can't keep doing is to keep giving everything we have and putting ourselves out of house and home to bring this to the forefront. We need the fans' support more than ever. If you can't go to a concert right now and buy a concert ticket, simply buy the CD.
Yep.
It gives back to you every day. I mean, it's something you can keep. We'll be on the road, and when we come out to see you all, we're going to take care of everyone. But until then, we need support. So please, folks, buy the record. That helps us. It really does.
Absolutely. Make it look like this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
All of them are Angel Born CDs back there. All of them.
You know, you really, people have to support the music they love. You know, it's so hard to, you know, I see the Spotify numbers, and I have Spotify. I go on Spotify and I
know. Well, we do too, because we have to play the game.
Right. It's a thing. But you know, you don't get the art. You know, you don't get the liner notes. You don't get that.
You don't get the feel, and you just
Yeah. And you know, like I said, you know, support your artists, make the room look like this. You know, there's nothing like that concrete hard disc. And you know, you supported the music, the people that created the music, and the music's so special. It's done so much for me in my life. Every single moment of my life, there's something playing in my head, or it's playing in the room, and it only happens because of these things. You know, and you know, the people that create them. you guys. And that's why, I respect even the smallest level of band. The guy down the street in his garage that's trying to make music, I respect tremendously because he's trying to bring that into the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something really, really special.
Mm-hmm.
And we really need to put value on that. And you guys are really, you are not the guy down at the end of the street.
We used to be.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. You're dumping a lot of money into this, and time and blood, sweat, tears, emotion. That needs a payday. That definitely needs a payday. So
Just to keep it going. Just to
yeah,
keep it going. We
right.
we don't care about getting rich. We just want to keep it
No.
going. That's all. That's simply it.
We want
And,
to
you know,
see that next
Yeah.
album.
Hey, Scott, I'm going to jump in and add to what you just said. I mean, talking about the art, I remember being 12 years old. I couldn't wait till it came out. Iron Maiden's Power Slave. I
Mhm.
got that album. I put on that record. I'm reading every lyric to Aces High, 2 Minutes to Midnight, and down the line. I'm studying that album cover with a microscope. You know
Yes.
what? We wanted to give a similar experience because that's the way we grew up. I mean, if you took because Angel Born is actually on a double LP, a double vinyl LP, kind of like Fire Orange. And I mean, if you've seen the cover, it's like, I mean, if you think about Somewhere in Time's cover or
Mhm.
Power Slave's cover, I mean, every
Those
time you
little
look at it,
things.
you can see all this intricate stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, we wanted to kind of mimic that amazing experience that we had growing up.
Awesome. Did
Yeah.
you put the etching on the inside of the vinyl? I think Power Slave had that too. They always had the Iron Maiden albums on the inside. The end leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
They
we
always.
didn't do it. They wanted to charge us more. So like, no, that's fine. That was simply all.
uh, and that's the level of analysis and just taking a part of the record that I would do. You take this out, it was an event to listen to a record, and I'd look at the record to see that etching, and it says Eddie Lives or something in there or whatever.
Yep.
That's
I mean, those are the things that there's you don't get that now, and it's just buy the vinyl, definitely. Yeah. Will it be available on Friday?
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
Our full merch store will be available, so it'll be available on CD, digital download, all the major outlets. Our personal web store is going to hold the double LP vinyls. We have Angel Born shirts. We have Soul Rise shirts. We have just these blue logo shirts, koozies, bumper stickers, patches,
Awesome.
everything. We got it all there. So, I mean, help us out. It's great merch, great price. Help us out. It helps us go a long way.
That's so cool. And where can everybody find it? Imagesofeden.com?
Yep, that's our one-stop shop. Everything that you could imagine is there. I try to make sure that it's very up to date and very comprehensive. Of course, it does link to all of our social media and everything else. But yeah, anything you could ever want to know, that's where you want to go.
So cool. So cool. Well, guys, I know I want to be respectful of your time. You got lives to lead. Gordon, Steve, it's been awesome, man.
God, we totally agree. And thank you more than you could know. And so glad that it spoke to you. I think of anything that you've said, the fact that your reaction to In Memory and Me kind of just put this interview kind of at the top of my list, just because of that alone, brother. So
yeah,
thank you so much, man.
Bro.
And stay in touch, brother. I'd love to hear what you think, or we would love to hear what you think about the My Promise video. Shoot us an email if you think of it on Friday when you see it.
Awesome. I will do that for sure.
Yeah, perfect.
For
All
sure.
right.
And you guys are so special. I appreciate what you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thanks
Thank you, brother.
man.
You have
right.
you have a great evening, brother.
You too.
Thank you.
Take
All
care,
right.
guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.